And then you frame it, and that would be
the
result.
product.
Yeah, so I did this one where the note shows, I did this with a t-shirt that had a stripe.
Mm-hmm.
And I alternated between the colors to have more depth, and I kept this. So I think that in this case, the color, bluish, and this does look like a sea more than mountains.
Yeah. Well, I love the whole idea of, like, last week I was talking about letting go and then thinking about your work and how you got inspired by, I don't know if you're like my mom, there was like boxes and boxes of baby clothes that we're all done with.
Yeah.
And the mice had gotten in, and she's like, well, what do I do with these? So to take like these boxes that take up so much space and to really pare it down to this piece has a lot of memories. And even if it's stained or the mice have gotten into it, I could still make something super special with it and then hang it on my wall and remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like that idea of, you said there's that memorial piece that you're doing for someone.
Yeah.
You can put memories of the people. You can put those good wishes, you can put emotions in there.
Yeah.
It's all in one place.
I think it makes a big difference. It's like you're saying, you're getting rid of letting go of the clothes, and also in a way, if you do the little notes, you let go of your emotions attached to the person or to the clothes.
Yeah.
So, cool. The letting go, speaking of letting go, a lot of my clients actually, when they made one keepsake, they didn't find it useful anymore to keep all the other stuff that they've been keeping. Yeah. So like, I have this now, and it's the same phase of everything else, and this is what I want to remember, is this phase when my child was around that age.
Yeah.
So they were holding on to all these things for a while, and once they did something with one thing, everything else seemed, extra, and it was easier to let go of the rest of the stuff.
Oh, that's so cool. I was reading something this morning about releasing things in order to make room for new growth, and I think we could probably talk a long time about that, but releasing the boxes, releasing the toys, releasing the memorabilia from someone who's older, who passed, or a stage in life, to literally like move the boxes out and have that one special piece that brings all those memories back, but have all that new space created in your heart, in your mind, in your house.
Exactly. I have a program about that. I don't know if you've seen it.
I did see something a little bit. Do you want to explain that a little bit to people?
Specifically for baby stuff.
Uh-huh.
I know my mom has our stuff from like 30 years ago. Okay, 30 years ago. So she still has these boxes, and she just doesn't want to let go of them for many reasons. Like sometimes you're so attached, you think that you'll forget if you get rid of them, or what if you guys need them? We really do not want these things, but like this is what I go through in the program. All the different reasons. I have 10 different main reasons why we keep the stuff, and then like a little solution for each one if it relates to you.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the 5 days, if you follow it, hopefully you got rid of most of your stuff. I went through it myself because I had the stuff for a while after my kids outgrew them.
Well, and how old are your kids now?
7 and 5.5.
5.5. And I was reading an article. You started your business when they were like 4 months and 2 years or something.
Yeah, my was 5 months.
That's impressive to me. It's inspiring. I was reading an article. I think it was Every Mom. They interviewed you. It's a really good article. And in my newsletter, I will link to that article because there were some really cool things you said in there.
Thank you.
And one of them I liked was hearing just about on the business side of it was when you had your kids, there were these miracles that you had, and you realized you didn't like your work quite so much. And I was kind of reading between the lines, and so correct me if I'm wrong, but you're like, I wanted my work to be more meaningful and have more purpose, because if I'm going to have to leave my babies to go to work, this better be worthwhile. And I thought it was
long hours and doing the thing from morning to evening. If you're miserable, it's not a good thing. It adds. And so, I was unhappy for a while, but when Laura was born, I'm like, okay, that's it. do this anymore. And
Yeah.
it took, it, I mean, the ages of my kids might be, weird for when I started my business, only because that's when I made their pieces.
Uh-huh.
I did not mean it to become a business.
Yeah.
And then, from here to there, I started making them for my friends, and everybody wanted them, and some people had boys. So I came up with, the hot air balloon and the sailboat. 'Cause it looks like there's something there. So
Yeah. I just love how it's cool to following your work because I feel like every time I see something, there's a new pattern, there's a new thing you're on to. Like you're just rolling. But
yeah,
it's cool that you started just with this idea just for you. You needed a creative outlet. You wanted to celebrate your kids in these different stages they're going through. Just like your passion, your talents, they all merge. But you had to be able to release one thing in order to go to the next step. And it's
and I love him even more because it evolved. For me, it was the sentimental clothes of my kids, and I've done donation for angel babies, and I'm doing adults and infertility victory pieces. Like after years and years of infertility, when they have the baby, they need this like trophy kind of.
yeah.
And all of these came with like questions from the moms, which I love so much. So, like after a few years, I felt that what I like is the impact. In addition to doing the art, it's amazing stories that I'm hearing. So I did not see that coming. So
What has been maybe one of the most powerful stories for you that's kind of stuck with you? And then the other question would be, how do you decide on the patterns?
So for the first question, it's very easy. The one thing I think about is Callie. It's my first angel baby that I did. I did not have anywhere in my mind to do these things, but this mom, she lost her daughter Callie at the age of 18 months, and she received a voucher from her friend to have a keepsake made. So she talked to me and she said, I want this to be made with the dress that she was wearing that day. And she wanted to have a fashion keepsake made of what I imagine her daughter would have looked like had she, stayed alive.
Yeah.
And this dress stayed on my table for like 2 weeks. I couldn't touch it. I don't know. It was very, very emotional for me thinking about the mom and her courage, to ask me for something like this.
Right.
And then I did it. It's definitely the one that I'm most proud of because of the impact. And it started the donation thing where, I do them for grieving parents who lost their children for free. So I take donations to be able to do them, or for every few keepsakes made, I can donate one. And a list of parents who talk to me, but they talk to me from time to time. They're like, I still want it, but I can't send you the clothes yet. So, it's a matter of when they're ready to let go. So I've done a couple. The last one that I like to stick with is the balloon flying. So it's like releasing the soul of the baby. So this one is I did it for another baby, and yeah, it's also the design is also emotional because it's meaningful.
Yeah, when I first met you, like you were doing almost everything I saw was like the fashion, the dresses, and I think the sailboats. And now, like every time I see yours, I feel like there's a new. I see a kid like holding a bunch of balloons. I see the hot air balloon. There's a heart. There's a Christmas tree to wreath. I'm like, she just keeps coming up with new patterns. And then for this one that you demonstrated today and gave us the instruction for. It's the mountains, and I was just curious. And you said it could also be, if you cut it out a little bit more smoothly, it could be the ocean. And I was curious as to how you come up with your patterns, like what inspires that.
So I don't know exactly the time where it's like when you have a business, everything is an idea, especially if it's a creative business. So most of the styles, I write them down when I think about them, and then I do them like 2 or 3 years later. It's usually vague ideas, and I still have them. I still have an ongoing list and things that pop up. But it's not, the thing with this is that it has to have a volume of fabric big enough to, to be seen. Like the custom girls, people send me the pictures of their daughters little, and what they would look like as adults. I've always been fascinated by, how kids grow and what changes and stuff. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out in 10 years
How accurate you were.
what they're gonna look like when they grow up. Boy moms wanted the same thing for men. Like I want you to draw my boy as a man, but and the girls, there's the big dress, right? I can't do this for the man. It won't look good. So
Yeah.
if it's this little thing. So the first requirement or criteria in the styles that make it is that it has to be a big enough surface of fabric. So the air balloon is big, the sails, the dress, the heart, everything is something that that has this big enough surface in the frame. And so I did the sailboat was the first style when I wanted to do something for boys that would work for boys. And then from there just started popping up. Still have a couple that might come, or maybe I'll be rotating, replacing styles with others.
Sure.
Yeah.
Releasing. Letting go. Yeah. And it reminds me that sometimes we have to be patient with, sometimes it's not the right time to let go or to start something new. And you kind of have to be patient with that process, but then being able to bring the new one in, and then also like to release them when that style has run its course so that you can bring in a new one. Very cool. Well, thank you today for sharing all that you did. And for those who are now just popping on, of course, this will be saved in the IGTV. And then I will also edit it a little bit and put it on YouTube and put in a write-up in the newsletter that you can get on my website, hopeandhealingathome.com. That will have links to all of Louma's stuff and some good quotes. And really appreciate the effort you put in today.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been fun. Bye.
Bye-bye.